Ethan, a young human scientist, waking up in a strange and enormous spaceship floating above an unknown planet. He remembers nothing about how he arrived there. Around him are several humanoid figures, all aliens, with shimmering skin, glowing eyes, and a presence that makes him feel both terrified and fascinated. A tall, regal alien named Zyra, with silver hair that seems to float like liquid metal, approaches him. She explains that he has been chosen for a sacred ritual of their civilization. He must select a bride while blindfolded. The aliens insist this is a test of his intuition, character, and purity of heart, and the consequences of a wrong choice could be catastrophic for both him and the planet. Ethan is confused and terrified. He's told that the bride he chooses will be his partner for life and will influence the future of their entire species. The aliens guide him to a platform where several alien women are waiting. He is blindfolded, and the atmosphere becomes intense. Soft whispers, faint laughter, and distant alien music echo through the chamber. As he touches, feels, and listens, Ethan experiences strange visions or flashes of memories that are not his own. Battles on alien worlds, magnificent cities of light, and beings that seem to bow to a mysterious figure. He feels a strange connection to one of the women even without seeing her. The blindfold is finally removed. In front of him stands the alien queen, Zyra herself, the most powerful being in the room. She smiles enigmatically. Ethan is shocked. He realizes that somehow, instinctively, he has chosen her, the ruler of this alien civilization. The first part ends on suspense. Ethan doesn't yet understand why he feels a connection to the queen, or why the aliens allowed him to choose, or the deeper secret hidden in his own past. The audience is left wondering what will happen next, and what dangers he may face for making such a bold choice. Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ethan opened his eyes to a light so bright and pure that it felt like it was inside his chest. He blinked rapidly, trying to understand where he was. The last thing he remembered was leaving his small apartment on Earth to attend a conference on interstellar communication. And then everything had gone blank now. He found himself lying on a smooth floor that seemed to hum beneath him. As if the building itself was alive, he tried to sit up, but a soft hand pressed against his shoulder, and he froze. The hand was cool and firm, and when he looked up he saw a being taller than any human he had ever seen, with skin that shimmered like liquid silver and eyes that glowed with an inner light. The alien studied him with curiosity, and spoke in a voice that resonated inside his mind. Rather than his ears, "Welcome, Ethan, we have been waiting for you." The voice was calming yet commanding at the same time. He wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but his throat felt dry, and words would not come. The alien continued. "You are here because you have been chosen for a sacred ritual, a ritual that will determine the future of our people, and possibly the fate of your own species." Ethan tried to comprehend the meaning of the words, but his mind was spinning. Chosen for a ritual. What did that mean? He had never believed in prophecies or destinies. Yet the way the alien spoke made him feel as if the universe itself had led him here. The alien motioned for him to rise, and Ethan obeyed, feeling a mixture of fear and awe as he stood. He noticed the chamber around him. It was vast, and circular walls of light stretched upwards, disappearing into shadows above. The floor glowed with patterns that shifted like living organisms. He could see figures moving in the distance, humanoid, yet not human. Each figure had its own aura and presence. Some were tall and regal, while others were slender and quick. Their skin colors ranged from deep blue to radiant gold, and some even seemed transparent, as if they were made of pure energy. The alien beside him introduced herself. "I am Zyra, the leader of this council, and you have been brought here for a test that will decide who you will join in partnership for life." Ethan felt his heart skip a beat. Partnership for life. He had no idea what that meant, and yet a strange anticipation filled him. The alien led him forward, and he noticed more beings waiting in the chamber, women, all of them different, yet all possessing an elegance and strength that was otherworldly. Zyra spoke again. "You will choose one of these women as your companion, but there is a catch. You will do so blindfolded. You will rely not on sight, but on intuition, courage, and heart." Ethan felt panic rise in his chest. How could he choose without seeing them? How could he possibly know? He would not embarrass himself or make a mistake. One of the attendants placed a soft cloth over his eyes, and instantly the light and color of the room vanished. He was plunged into darkness and silence, surrounded only by the subtle movements of the women, their breathing, the rustle of their garments, the faint scent of something floral, yet alien. It was overwhelming and strange, and terrifying all at once. The aliens guided him toward the first woman. He reached out and felt her hand. It was smooth yet strong. A subtle warmth ran through his fingers. He recoiled slightly, and moved on. The next one had a cool touch, and her fingers seemed to tingle with electricity. Ethan gasped. but continued the test. Each encounter brought a new sensation. Some gentle and soft, others firm and commanding. He felt an inexplicable connection with one presence that made his heart beat faster, yet he could not see her face. He could not know if his instincts were correct. He closed his eyes tighter, feeling the whispers of the chamber brush against him. A soft voice seemed to speak directly into his mind, encouraging him, reassuring him to trust his instincts. Ethan's hand finally rested on a palm that felt familiar, almost like a memory he had never lived. Yet somehow known. His body trembled. He could not explain why this connection felt so vital, so profound. He focused on the feeling of the hand on his palm, the rhythm of her breathing, the subtle energy that seemed to flow into him. He felt courage swell inside him, and he knew this was the choice he had to make. When the cloth was removed, the world exploded into light again. Ethan blinked rapidly, and before him stood a figure so breathtaking it stole his breath away. She was taller than the others. Her presence commanded attention. Without a word, her silver hair floated around her head. As if suspended in water, her eyes glowed with the same intensity as when he first saw Zyra. And yet they held something softer, something intimate, and knowing, she smiled, and Ethan realized with a shock that this was Zyra herself, the alien queen, the one who had been leading him the entire time. He had somehow chosen the most powerful being in the chamber, the ruler of this civilization. The thought should have terrified him, yet it did not. Instead, he felt a warmth spread through his chest, a mixture of awe, fear, and something else he could not name. He had made his choice, and somehow instinctively, he had chosen the one being in the universe who could change everything for him. And for the galaxy around them. The other women stepped back and bowed their heads, their expressions respectful and resigned. Ethan felt the weight of what he had done. He had no idea why he had felt the connection or why he had been guided to her, but he knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Zyra extended her hand toward him, and when he took it, a jolt of energy ran through him like lightning. The air seemed to shimmer around them, and for a moment he felt as if he could see glimpses of the stars and planets beyond their own. The chamber was silent, and the council watched intently. Ethan's mind raced with questions. What did this mean? What would happen next? Why him? And why her? And then Zyra spoke again. Welcome, Ethan, you have chosen, and your journey begins now. The words were simple but carried the weight of destinies he had never imagined and responsibilities he had never known. He realized that his life on Earth was gone, and a new chapter was unfolding before him, one filled with mystery, danger, and the unknown. Yet he did not feel fear. He felt purpose. He had made a choice guided by something deep within him, and now he had to live with the consequences. The council began to move, and the chamber walls shifted, revealing a corridor that led deeper into the heart of the alien city. Ethan followed Zyra, his mind still reeling with the sensation of her hand in his, and the knowledge that he had chosen the queen. The closer they walked, the more he noticed the intricate designs on the walls depicting battles of light against darkness, starships soaring across alien skies, and beings of unimaginable power. Each image seemed to whisper a story to him, a story he was now a part of. Zyra finally led him to a balcony overlooking the city. Below, the view was breathtaking. Towers of crystal and light stretched into the sky. Vehicles glided silently above the ground, and the stars beyond were closer than he had ever imagined. She turned to him and spoke again. This world is on the brink, Ethan. Soon you will understand why your choice was vital, why your presence here matters more than you can imagine. The words sent a shiver down his spine, yet he could not look away from her gaze. It held a promise, a challenge, and a question all at once. He did not know if he was ready to face what was coming, but something inside him told him he had no other choice. The chapter of his old life was over, and the story of the human who chose the alien queen was only beginning. The stars above seemed to pulse with energy, and the city below glowed with anticipation. Ethan knew that the coming days would test him in ways he could not yet imagine, and as he stood beside Zyra, the alien queen, he felt a strange calm, knowing that whatever awaited them, he would face it by her side, and somehow together they would shape the destiny of worlds beyond his comprehension. The soft hum of the city reached his ears, and for the first time he understood that he was not alone, that the universe itself had woven a path leading him here, and that the connection he felt with Zyra was only the beginning of a story that would span stars, civilizations, and the very essence of life itself. Ethan stood beside Zyra, the alien queen, on the balcony of the glowing city. The lights of the towers reflected in her eyes, and he felt a strange mixture of fear, excitement, and wonder. She turned to him and spoke. Your choice was not random, Ethan. You were drawn here for a reason that goes beyond what you understand. Yet even as she spoke, he felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. He had chosen the queen. He had stepped into a destiny that could change the fate of planets and civilizations. The city around them pulsed with life, and energy. Vehicles glided silently above the ground, and beings of every imaginable shape moved through streets and plazas. Yet all of it seemed calm, peaceful. Yet underneath, Ethan could feel a tension like a storm waiting to break. Zyra led him down the balcony steps and into a private chamber. The walls shimmered with holographic displays showing star systems and fleets of ships moving across the cosmos. She gestured for him to sit and then began to explain the truth. The ritual you completed was not merely a test. It was a prophecy. Long ago, our people foresaw that a human would come to us and choose the queen, and in doing so awaken the guardianship that could protect us from the Shadow Fleet. The Shadow Fleet. Ethan repeated the words in his mind, feeling unease settle in the pit of his stomach. The queen continued. These beings consume worlds, entire civilizations disappear before their approach, and now they move toward us. Your presence here and your choice have created a bond that allows you to stand beside me and face what is coming. Ethan tried to comprehend how he could be important to such a cosmic threat. He was a human, a scientist, not a warrior, not a king. Yet as he looked into Zyra's eyes, he felt a power stir within him, a connection to the universe, something ancient, something that had waited for him to arrive. She reached out and touched his forehead, and suddenly his mind filled with visions, stars exploding, alien cities rising, and falling fleets of ships battling in the void. He saw glimpses of himself wielding energy and commanding forces he did not understand, yet somehow it felt familiar. The visions stopped, and he gasped for breath. The energy lingered in his veins, and he felt a courage he had never known before. The queen smiled. Your choice has awakened something in you, Ethan, something that even we feared might never come to life. The Shadow Fleet will arrive soon, and we must prepare. She led him to a training chamber. The room was vast and seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction. Holographic figures moved with incredible speed and agility. She handed him a small device and instructed, you must learn to trust your instincts as you did during the ritual. The training was unlike anything Ethan had imagined. He moved through simulations of battles, faced enemies he could not see, but could sense through vibrations and energy flows. Each step tested his reflexes, his mind, and his courage, yet every time he faltered. Zyra was there, guiding him, teaching him, showing him the flow of power through his own body. As days passed, he began to understand. He could manipulate energy fields, sense danger, anticipate attacks, and communicate with the alien technology around him. It was as if the bond with Zyra unlocked a dormant potential he had never known. He could feel the universe bending slightly to his will, and the thought thrilled and terrified him at the same time. One evening, as they walked through the corridors of the city, he asked her why. Him, why human, why now? She looked at him, her eyes soft yet filled with fire. You were chosen because of your heart, Ethan, because humans have a spark we have never fully understood. You have courage, hope, and intuition that no alien could replicate. This is why you were drawn to me, and why you will stand by my side as we face what is coming. Their bond grew stronger each day, their connection deeper, and Ethan began to understand that this was more than destiny. It was partnership, a union of minds, hearts, and purpose. The day the Shadow Fleet arrived, Ethan stood on the balcony once again, beside Zyra. The sky was filled with dark shapes, massive ships that blotted out the stars, their presence oppressive and suffocating. Yet he did not feel fear, he felt resolve, and a strange exhilaration. The queen extended her hand, and Ethan took it together. They stepped onto a platform that projected energy shields around the city. The fleet opened fire, and the air vibrated with power, yet Ethan felt the flow of energy around him. Guiding him, he directed shields, strengthened defenses, and coordinated strikes. As the humans and aliens worked together side by side, the battle raged around them, and he realized that his choice had set this moment in motion. Every decision, every instinct, every beat of his heart mattered. The queen fought beside him, moving with elegance and power. Ethan found himself anticipating her moves, communicating with her without words. As if they were one being split into two bodies, the battle was intense and unrelenting. Yet in the chaos, Ethan discovered a strength he never knew he had. He could feel the pulse of the city respond to him, and for the first time he understood the true meaning of guardianship and destiny. As the fleet began to falter and retreat, Ethan and Zyra stood side by side, overlooking the aftermath. The city was damaged, but alive, and the alien beings who once seemed distant and mysterious now looked to Ethan with respect, and he had stepped into a role far beyond what he had imagined. And yet he felt whole. He turned to Zyra, and she smiled a smile that held relief, pride, and something he could not name yet knew he would spend a lifetime discovering together. The queen spoke softly. The universe is vast, Ethan, and full of dangers. But together, we have proven that even the smallest spark can ignite a force capable of changing the fate of worlds. He looked out at the stars, and for the first time felt truly part of something larger than himself, a story that spanned civilization, stars, and the very essence of life itself. And as he held her hand, he knew that no matter what challenges awaited them, the bond they shared would guide them courageously into the unknown. The city began to hum with renewed energy and life. Ethan felt the flow of power within him and around him, and he understood that this was only the beginning. The universe was full of mysteries, threats, and wonders, and he had found his place beside the alien queen, not as a servant, not as a follower, but partner, a guardian, and a human who had chosen to face the stars and the darkness beyond them with courage, hope, and love. And as they looked together at the horizon filled with the glow of distant suns, Ethan realized that he had chosen not just a bride, but a destiny, a purpose, and a journey that would span the infinite galaxies ahead of them, and he was ready.